1998, when he talked with CMT Showcase, he was riding high. He might even have thought that things couldn't get much better. But then, things got a lot better.
Tim McGraw.
Hey, Tim!
I feel so alone. My husband's not. I don't know who to hug. Can I hug somebody?
This is Tim McGraw, and this is a classic CMT Showcase. You might call Tim McGraw the reigning Prince Charming of country music. He's got it all, fame, family, and faith. And in 1998, he was just beginning to realize what it feels like to be the envy of every guy in America.
Early in my career, I loved what I was doing, but I didn't. You never think that you're going to be able to have both. You never think you're going to have this passion for your career and the dedication that you have for it, and a passion for your life and your marriage and your family and the dedication that it takes to make that work. You never think that you can have both. And man, when those things come together and you feel like you got a hold on both of them, it's a pretty awesome thing. And I think it really allows you to become more creative at what you're doing on both ends, because you're solid and you're stable.
When he became the husband and when he became the father, the music again evolved into something that he is. And I think he, you know, today, again, like Byron says, he's probably as happy as we've ever seen him. And he is mellower, but he's got this intense drive to be the very best father and the very best husband, oh yes, and the very best artist.
Being on stage, that's the best, absolute hands down the best part of my career, is being on stage. I would have fun on stage in a little club playing cover songs all night. I would enjoy doing that, as long as I had my band with me. I just love to do that. I've always loved to sing, and I love being up on stage, and not necessarily because there's a lot of people out there, just because you got a good sound system and you can hear yourself and hear the band. And you know, it's a great feeling to be up there doing what you love to do. And it's even a better feeling to be up there doing what you love to do and people out there appreciating it and knowing the songs and knowing that you're up there doing everything you can to make them have a good time. That's the best part of my career. I mean, I like all of it. I love doing what I do. I love making music. But being on stage is the impetus for everything that I do and ever have done to be in this business.
That's the most amazing thing, especially sitting out in the audience and watching him perform. And I end up watching the audience instead of watching him, seeing all these girls. And it's not just teenage girls. It's ladies my age or older, and it's 5- and 6-year-old kids screaming and hollering and knowing the words to all his songs. It's amazing.
You know, I think my career, and more than some people, probably less than some people, was built on the fans more than anything else, because we were out playing clubs and we were a bar band a long time before we had a record deal. So we were out there playing, and you know, 6 nights a week and every 5 hours a night, playing everything that we could learn and play, and doing some original stuff too. So I think we had built up a good following playing all over the country in clubs. And so when our records started happening, I think the fan base that we had built playing clubs really helped out a lot. And in our live show, I think we make new fans every time we do a live show because we have fun. We've worked together for a long time. My band's been with me, most of them, since the beginning of my career, and stuck with me. And there are times I probably still owe them some money from dates that our bar tab was more than what we got paid. So they're a great bunch of guys. We're best friends on the road, and I think that shows when we get on stage. And I think that's where our relationship with the fans comes in, is in our live shows and how we communicate. Not only me, but everybody in my band communicate with the audience, and we really get a kick out of that.
Seeing pictures now of me and her in those summer nights, my mind fills with her. Oh, but it's alright, 'cause I laugh every time I start to think about us. We spent that summer out in style, and she's gone, but she left me with a smile.
Although his fans have elevated him to virtual icon status, Tim hasn't lost the modest, shy, boy-next-door quality.
Oh, for a little while.
I think the fact that Tim is so unaffected by his success, meaning he's changed so little, that's admirable to me, because he's a super duper star. I mean, this guy is just huge. Someone said about Tim, and it's true, they said the way he behaves hasn't changed, but the way he treats people has not changed, but the way people treat him has changed.
He's the kind of guy that opens the door for everybody. If you got a piece of gear that you want to take in, he'll reach down and pick up the stuff and take it for the guys. They all comment about the way that he is. He's just a great human being.
I'm Tim McGraw all the way through. There's not two of me. I mean, it's just me. It's just a part of what I do for a living, just like if I, went out and put on a suit and tie and went and sold cars or something, or if I was working construction or something, or running the camera or asking questions. It's just part of what I do, and it's part of what I'm good at, and you got to do what you're good at.
Coming up, Tim talks about faith and the kiss
I just remember the kiss.
when CMT Showcase returns. With Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw and Faith Hill met during their Spontaneous Combustion tour in 1996. They fell in love while working together. Here, while announcing the tour, they were just getting to know each other.
Faith just instantly she attracts you to her, and I tell you, you don't have to be in a room for 30 seconds with her without falling in love with her. She's such a great woman. I mean, she's compassionate, she's professional, she's smart, she's funny, she's a great mother. I mean, she's a terrific mother and a terrific wife. I don't know how I got here, to tell you the truth. I don't know how I made it there with her, but I can't say enough good things about her. She makes me better at everything that I do.
Some of the same people that knew me and knew Tim would always make a comment, and this happened right before we got together, actually, would say, you and that Tim McGraw need to get together. And the only thing I could think of was, are you crazy? Another artist? I mean, two of us together? I don't know. I can't imagine how that would possibly work. It just seemed like too much to deal with.
Might have taken her a little bit longer than it took me, but eventually she saw it my way.
But then when I got to know him, it was just so ironic, the background and how he was, where he was raised, and it was just really kind of funny. We probably would have been together if we were in high school. We probably would have been high school sweethearts.
We both played this game before. See, I love you, say goodbye. I'm not talking about moving in. I don't want to change your life. There's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see it tonight.
It just happened. I mean, we sang together, and I just fell in love with her. Everything about her. Watching her on stage every night sing, and I never saw anything quite like that before in my life, and I know I never will again.
Tomorrow morning, I'm hitting the dusty road.
I'm gonna find you wherever you might go.
And I'm gonna unload my heart. Hope you'll come back to me. Said the night's getting lonely. Whoa, so say.
I always thought that you'd be right by my side. Lord, but nobody knows it like me.
I'm so lonely, the days are so sad. I just keep thinking about love that we had. I'm missing you. Nobody knows it but me.
Well, she hit me the first time I kissed her. No, I'm kidding. She didn't. when we were dating. So I mean, that was, and we were singing together a love song on stage. So it's just, you know, just couldn't help myself.
Nobody knows it but me.
I just remember the kiss. I remember this, though, seeing pictures back going, oh, my God, did we really do that? It's like any other romance. When you fall in love with somebody that you know is the one, the world just stops. It just kind of stops, and it starts going your direction. I mean, it just does. And so the times that we were together on stage, there was no one else around. It could have been black. And not to take anything away from the fans, because it just, but it was, he was my world. He had everything. And he still does. I mean, he still does that to me.
She just puts out such a good feeling. She just really makes you feel good about, she makes people feel good about themselves.
It's your love. It just does something to me. It sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under, oh, it's
It's Your Love propelled the couple into superstardom. Tim's producers tell how it happened.
It was their idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. All at once, Tim said, Faith will sing on that song, and he talks real fast like that. And so we were tickled. I mean, I thought it was great. And then he calls us one day and says, she wants to sing on that song. So we're great.
I think he was waiting to hear us say, no, you don't want to do that. But Byron called me and says, man, he said, what do you think? And I said, well, what do you think? And he said, well, I think it's a great idea. I said, well, I do too. So it was originally started, we originally started out as like a little background part, you know, and and have her sing a couple of places. And then Byron started singing them a little bit, and it got more and more involved, and it became what it is.
oh, it's a beautiful thing. Don't think I can keep it all in. I just gotta let you know what it is that won't let me go.
It's made the two of them more successful. As a couple, it's made them, it's given them like a third dimension of what we need in country music right now. We need a story to tell, and we need a true life story to tell instead of a duet with so-and-so and the other guy comes in and they do this. They're living It's Your Love.
It's so hard to put any kind of finger on that, because everything just came together so perfectly. The song was perfect. You know, Faith and I hadn't sang together at that point yet, and it was the first time we'd ever sang together. We were having a baby, and the song just said everything. It was kind of a reflection on our life, and it couldn't have been a more perfect song than that. And we were really excited to do it, and I don't know. It was a bigger experience for us, believe me, than it was anybody else to record that song and to do that video together. And now we can look back and show the video to Gracie and tell her that she was in Mama's belly right there. Because right by the milkshake stain that Faith had on her dress, because she had to have a milkshake in the middle of that shoot, and spilt milkshake on her belly. So Gracie's right below the milkshake stain.
It's your love. It just does something to me. It sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under, oh, it's your love. It's your love.
people are living It's Your Love. They're getting married to it. They're giving their vows to it. There's just a very few artists that has that much of an emotional impact on the fan.
You know, it's great. You know, and when she comes out and sings with me now, It's Your Love, when we do a live show somewhere, that's when I know she's going to come out. I anticipate that moment all night long, and it's the biggest part of our whole show, biggest part of my night anytime it happens. And when she comes out, it's like Elvis walking on stage. The flashes just go crazy, and people just love to see her. And it's a great feeling for me to be out there, you know, singing all night, and then turn around and my wife come out and sing a song with me.
We're around them a lot. I'm at their house or whatever, and I never see them, you know, not be the way that they are when the cameras are rolling. It's pretty amazing, actually. I wish I was that good a person, but I'm proud of both of them for that. Really am.
Coming up, Tim reveals his feelings when he discovered he was adopted.
You know, what do you think when you're 11 years old and you see something like that? I'm not sure what I thought.
When CMT Showcase returns. Showcase with Tim McGraw. Tim grew up in rural Louisiana. Even as a young boy, he did well in school, and he has the grades to prove it.
I didn't necessarily like it all the time, but I did pretty good in school. I didn't really have any trouble in school, all through high school. I probably let sports get in the way a little bit too much in high school, but I did all right.
We lived hand to mouth, no money at times, and we made it, and we're very close. All three of my children are good kids.
You know, my mother's so good at making everything feel like a home and making us feel like that. We, you know, in all our friends, we didn't know any better. I mean, everybody we knew was poor. So I mean, I think that's only the only stress that, or the impact that has on you is knowing any better. I think we didn't know any better, and I had a good childhood. My mother, my grandparents, you know, did a great job in raising me and my sisters. So we had some tough times. We had a lot of tough times growing up. We probably think it's normal, some of the things that we went through, and then when you talk to other people and realize that it really wasn't like that for everybody, it kind of makes you feel a little strange. But, you know, I think you're your own person, and you have to take responsibility for your life and the way you're going to be, and not try to blame anything for that.
Tim was 11 years old when he found out he was adopted, but he discovered his mother's secret before she was ready to tell him.
He was looking for something in my closet, something for school, and just ran across the birth certificate in a box that was stuck way back in the closet, and called me at work. And I think it was traumatic for him, but I think it was more traumatic for me because I knew I was going to tell him, but 11 years old was not the age I planned on telling him. But he's a very sensitive, perceptive type person, so he really handled it very well for an 11-year-old.
You know, what do you think when you're 11 years old and you see something like that? I'm not sure what I thought. I know I went through a little bit of a tough period, but it wasn't anything that was, I think it was more traumatic for everyone around me than it was for me, actually.
Tim found out his biological father was professional baseball player Tug McGraw. It was only when Tim got older that his relationship with Tug began. Since Faith was also adopted, it's a common tie that Tim and Faith have in their relationship.
We can relate to a lot in those kind of ways, and you know, that's to us, that's just a personal and part of our life that we, another way that we communicate on a different level. I think that makes us that much stronger.
I climb right up to the sky. I take down the stars just to be in your arms, baby. I'd go and capture the moon. That's what I would do, just to hear you say that you love me. Just to hear you say that you love me.
We go to dinner with them, and the kids are crawling all over them, and you know, and Faith is like trying to order, and you know, and Tim comes over and just grabs a batch of them and gets them back. It's the cutest thing to watch them live their lives. And then you remember that when you're sitting, as all this is happening, they're being inundated with people wanting to have autographs and stuff. But they really are this couple that really love each other, that started this family, and They just happen to be some of the greatest singers and artists in our music business.
You know, people are great. I mean, we never have a problem in public. Every now and then it'll get a little crazy. But, you know, I think people respect, you know, when we're out, we kind of forget about it, you know, when we're out shopping, or we go to the mall, we go to the grocery store, and pretty much everybody knows us now. So it's just like, you know, here he comes again. Hey, how you doing? But everybody's they're really respectful and really nice, and they're really good to our kids, and that's the way we like it. I mean, just like you would see anybody that you would call a friend, I guess, and say hi to. That's what we like. I mean, we just kind of leave that at home, or leave it on the bus, or leave it on the stage, and go do our thing as a family.
You'll find better love.
She'll be headed to this coast, he's headed to that coast. And they're not together all the time. And so it takes a real strong, loving type relationship to wither through that.
We have great management companies and great booking agencies and people that really keep everything together for us. They know how we want our life to be. They know we want to be together the most amount of time that we can. And they schedule everything accordingly. I mean, they make everything where she's working, I'm working. If we're both off, we're both off. And that allows us to not have to think about that. So when we do have our time together and do have our time at home, we can close the door and we're home and leave everything else to other people to do. So that really is a credit to everybody that works for us, to make sure that we stay together and the communication lines are up between both teams to keep everything as together as possible.
And baby, you would be surprised at all the places you have been. I've seen you in Albuquerque, waiting out a blizzard, Arizona, dancing across the desert, watching the sun set in Monterey. Girl, I swear, just the other day you were down in Georgia, picking down peaches in Carolina, barefoot on
Careers, their lives are incredibly busy.
everywhere.
There's times when I sit back and think, well, gosh, this is way busy. This is a lot going on. But and Faith and I talk about this all the time. I think that if you stopped and thought about how much you were doing and all these little things that you got going on, that it might seem a little crazy. But I think if you just do it and then take your time that you have to yourself and have for your family and really take advantage of it, I think that it's compartmentalizing, I guess. It's when you have to do something, you do it, and you do it the best you can. And when you're away from it, you can let it go and deal with what you have to deal with then. And I think that Faith and I both are good at doing that. And I think that's what makes it work. And plus, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we have a family, we have children, we have a future, we have things that we want to do with our life and things that we want to do with our kids and ways that we want to raise them and a family plan, if you will, of what we want our life to be like. So we know we have to work hard for that to happen.
I'd say he's more mellow now than he ever was, and that's one of the things that I'm proud of Tim about, is the fact that he hasn't changed.
You can come as you are.
Down on the farm country boy image, make no mistake, he's a man of many talents, including a new career as a record producer for his friends.
And I will, for the rest of my life, be indebted to Tim McGraw.
When CMT Showcase returns, Tim McGraw. To gain more input into his music, Tim has begun co-producing his own records with Byron Gallimore and James Stroud.
I've always been very involved in making my music and picking my songs and pretty hard-headed about it. So I think that I've always, all the way along, been pretty vocal in the studio. But what I've learned is just that. I've learned so much from Byron and James. They've taught me everything. Probably not everything they know. I'm sure they're keeping some things to themselves. But, you know, anything I've wanted to know, they've taught me. And it's been a process of learning throughout every album. And it was just, I think it was just the right time to do that. I don't know if I'm doing any more. I'm just more nervous about it because my name's on it now, so I can't blame those guys all the time now.
The music that he listened to when he was growing up, I think he brings a lot of that in to the party when he comes in. The music of the 80s and a lot of great song sense from that wealth of information, which helps. You know, he'll have ideas about where to go with a song. I want this to sound like an artist or whatever. I kind of hear this or that. and we kind of work together to go for that.
I worry about whether I'm doing a song that maybe not country enough or maybe it's too country or anything like that. I just pick good songs. I pick the best songs that I can find, songs that I like, songs that have something to say, songs that I can sing good. You can't sing every song. Some good songs come along sometimes that you just don't feel like you can do a good job on. So I never look at it that way. I look at it as I know when I sing that it's going to be country, and so I can kind of take the leeway either way I want to go and record the record like I want to, and know that when I put my voice on it, I feel like it's going to be country enough.
Tim isn't only involved in producing his own records. He's been working with Byron Gallimore on Joe DiMessina's albums.
I knew Joe D when I first moved to town, actually, and when I first met Byron Gallimore, and we were talking about what was the next step in my career. I hadn't recorded an album yet. I've only recorded a few tracks that didn't really sound good and didn't turn out good. So we were trying to figure out what direction we're going, and he started playing me stuff that he'd been working on, and a demo tape of Joe D was one of the tapes he played me, and I just fell in love with her voice. She has one of those voices that she sings great and all that, but there's an honesty to her voice and a timbre in her voice that really gets to you, and that doesn't happen very often. I think that's the difference between very successful artists and artists who are not as successful as some other artists. There's just that little quality in their voice that they have that draws your attention to it and kind of perks your ears to it and touches you that you just can't learn. It just has to be there, and it's honest, and Jody has that.
And I remember him coming up to me. It was backstage at the Ace of Clubs, and I was having a showcase. I got a record deal, and the record company was having a showcase. They were showcasing me, and Tim came backstage. I was all nervous. I got so scared before I went on stage that I almost went into shock. I couldn't hear anybody, and he'd come up and he's like, "Hey, don't forget me when you make it big time." And he went out and sat in the audience, and he went to both of my showcases here in Nashville. And, he ended up making it big time. Big time. He ended up making it. And he never forgot me. And I will, for the rest of my life, be indebted to Tim McGraw and his heart, his sincerity, and his giving, his kindness. I still am, to this day. He's still there for me.
When you're in the studio doing your own thing, even though you're producer on it too, you kind of let your mind go a little bit so you can worry about, you worry more about the vocals and the singing, and although you can compartmentalize and think about everything else that's going on and try to put as much input as you can, you're really concerned about how the song's going to come across and how it's going to work for you. So when you're a producer, or when you're not singing, I guess is what I should say, when you're working on another act, it gives you a different perspective because you can concentrate more on how the record's going to sound and the little intricacies that you really can't concentrate as much on at the time as it's going down when you're doing the singing. So I think you can kind of broaden your horizons a little bit, and it's helped me be a better artist. It's helped me, when I go back in the studio to do my own work, think of things that I might have thought of and in another session with somebody else that really helps me out a lot too. So it's a learning process. It's like a full circle. It comes around both ways.
To his role as a producer, he looks upon it as a possible second career, just in case.
I think it's just another aspect to my career. It's, we're all going to have that time in our career where our records aren't selling as good as they ought to be. I hope it never comes, but it ultimately will. And it's, in times that I don't want to work as much as I do, and go to Little League ball games and stay at home with my kids, and that's coming down the road. So producing is definitely a venue and an avenue for me to stay in music and do some of the things that I love to do further down the road, and I'm going to get better at all of it.
Tim's a huge part of making that work. He is the guy that says yes or no. He is the person that tells Byron or me the final decision. Even though we're the boss of the project, he's really the final say-so about things. And he's so smart to not fool with it. He knows that we all have our separate jobs and we all have our separate things that we do, and he lets it happen. And it will continue. It'll continue. It's going to be a career. He'll have a long career, and we're thankful for it. I can't tell you how happy I am to watch him go from Indian Outlaw to It's Your Love.
Entertainer of the Year, Tim McGraw.
I guess that's just the cow for me.
He's platinum album, Set This Circus Down, features 3 #1 hits, Grown Men Don't Cry, Angry All the Time, and The Cowboy in Me. Plus the video smash, Angel Boy, and more. Set This Circus Down. Available at all FYE music stores now.
First off, I want to say hi to Gracie and Maggie who are watching at home with Nano. I love you girls. Mom and I love you. We can't wait to get back home to you.
Like any proud father, Tim likes to talk about his daughters, Gracie and Maggie.
Gracie is, she's pretty extroverted. I mean, she grew up on the George Strait tour last year pretty much on the side of the stage watching the show every night. So she's into singing and dancing and knows everybody by name. And she has her favorites. She loves Dixie Chicks and Martina and George Strait, of course, and loves Mom and Daddy when they come on the TV. She loves that. So she's really extroverted. It's hard to tell with Maggie because she's only 7 months old and she's a little bit more reserved than Gracie, but she's starting to get motored around pretty good on her hands and knees. So she's getting into things, and she always smiles. She's a smiler. She smiles at everybody and everything. First thing in the morning, she's smiling when you go get her out of the crib from the sound asleep. She's a perfect little baby. And the coolest thing, I think, for me, the coolest thing is to see the way Maggie looks at Gracie. It's just total admiration. She just wants to grow up to run around with her so bad that you can tell that it's just tearing her up, that she can't run around and chase her around. So I can't wait for the time that they're up running around together.
The one thing that Gracie and all of our kids will know is that they are loved beyond a shadow of a doubt. They'll believe they can do anything, and they will know who they are.
I don't know if there's a philosophy that you can really have about raising kids except for teaching them to be just good people. And I don't think you can teach them that. I think you have to show them that. And I think if I could think of one thing that I would want to instill in my kids and what my kids thought about things and how they treated people would be a sense of humility and how to look at things through other people's eyes. And I think that would be the best thing that I could do.
Family life for Tim and Faith begins on the bus. A brand new bus with all the conveniences of home.
Hey, CMT, we're going to go on the bus here. This is our home. This is what we spend too much time on, to tell you the truth. But I'll show you a little bit of it. We're going to go in and check it out. This is our new bus, designed by Faith. She spent putting a lot of time and effort in designing this bus how she wanted it. So it's pretty kid-friendly. Except for this, we got to get a pad on this table. Gracie keeps bumping her head on that, so we had to fix that. But back through those doors is Nana, who's our nanny. It's her room, and then on back is our bedroom with Gracie's bed that comes out from under the bed, and then there's a crib back there, and got a really cool TV. It's like going to the drive-in laying in bed. So we got it pretty nice back there. It's home for us. But up here is where Gracie spends most of her time playing, and Maggie spends most of her time on the floor. Got some toys in here. Back around that side under the TV. There's a lot more toys than that, thank goodness. We just got off the road, so we got a lot of stuff off. So we have a computer in here that swings out. I guess I can show that to you if I can remember how to do it. I'm not very computer literate. I don't know anything about them. I can't even turn them on. But here's a computer. It kind of comes out and makes a table there that we haven't used yet because neither one of us know how to do it. But we'll get into that one of these days. But we spend a lot of time. We got a big refrigerator. That's important because for a lot of bottles and stuff. You got your Bud Light. You got to have the Bud Light. And it's pretty much home. It's real comfortable. And Hemphill Brothers, who built this for us, this is the first time they built one of these. It's called an H3. It's the kind of bus this is. It's a Prevost H3, but it's a new model. So we're proud of it. It's been fun. We've only been out a few times in it, but so far so good. Faith will be on this bus more than I will. She gets this bus, and I get stuck out on the road with my band in their bus. So I have to go from the Ritz to Motel 6 when I go out with a band, and Faith gets to stay down here with the kids. But this is where I plan to be most of the time if I can get to them. Well, thanks CMT for coming by and visiting. First time I ever had a couple million people in the bus at one time, but we'll try anything. We'll see you guys later. Take care.
Thanks for watching this classic CMT Showcase with Tim McGraw.
All I